if I'm an admin or, even a data engineer, or maybe there's a platform team that owns sort of the operational aspect of this stuff. What clusters are in Qubole? They're ephemeral, right? They can be in multiple states. They can be down. As you can see, I've got a number of inactive clusters. There are no physical instances running. And by the way, when we're talking about instances running, that stuff's running in our customers' VPCs on AWS or in GCP, in their tenants on Azure, right? There's a control plane and there's a data plane. The data plane runs within our customer's environment. So this is actually orchestrating EC2 instances within your cluster. But just to show you how easy it is to create a cluster, click that. Let's say we want to pick Spark. I give it a name. Right, I've got the versions. A lot of this stuff will be defaulted to what works best. And in Spark's case, we've got, the R instance types picked. Let me actually show you what this means, right? So as I mentioned, this is going to drive the workload-aware autoscaling capabilities. I've got a cluster here. This is a shared Qubole account, and there's a cluster here that our team uses for some BI purposes. I picked this one because it gives me a nice view. One of the things that you'll see here is there's a chart that gives you node versus time, and this is in the product. What you're looking at here are, for this particular cluster, over time, how many nodes it was using, again, graphed over time. Few things to notice here. First of all, notice that there are these spikes. These spikes represent our ability to scale up the cluster very rapidly and then scale down the cluster when it becomes idle very rapidly as well. All of the white space you're seeing there, that's all cost savings, right? Because otherwise you would have had a cluster that had, let's say 20 nodes running all the time. Now, the other thing to notice is I mentioned there were three things that drive the cost savings, and I talked about two of them, the cluster lifecycle management, that's our ability to auto-start and auto-terminate clusters, the workload-aware autoscaling, which is the up and down that you're seeing here. The third thing is our ability, Qubole's ability to allow our customers to leverage spot instances. And the spot instances are represented by this light blue teal color. Again, that's spot in AWS, but we do this on all of the clouds. So on GCP, these are the preemptible instances on GCP. Again, those are volatile instances for folks that might not be familiar with that. The clouds provide a way for you to leverage volatile instances at a discounted price. These are excess capacity usually. The trade-off is that they can take those away unannounced almost. And therefore, many people tend to shy away from that because of the instability. What Qubole has done is built in intelligence into the platform, which allows our customers to use spot instances at massive scale. We've had customers use 90, 95% spot, in some cases 100% spot clusters. So over the last year, Qubole's helped our customers save $230 million, right? And that's compared to using an alternate solution, something like EMR or otherwise. If you look at since Qubole's inception, since 2011, we've been able to help our customers save over $500 million in cloud spend. That's pretty amazing. And if I look at that, like on a single instance, we've seen customers, come over from a competitor or an alternative solution, save anywhere from 50 to 60% on their cloud spend. And this is how it's done, as you can see here. So I wanted to end with one more quick thing. As you use Qubole and the Open Data Lake platform, there's a notion of clusters. These clusters are generally scaling up and down. We have the ability to support multiple workloads, multi-tenant on the same cluster, so you can drive for really good efficiency when multiple users are allowed to share the same cluster, and Qubole takes care of the scaling up and down. With that, there are trade-offs, right? If everybody's logging in, you got different types of personas, there are trade-offs. And you need governance, right? So Qubole provides the ability to, have fine-grained access control, role-based access control to different functions and features, and that's all managed through here. As you can see, I can set up groups and roles. I might have data scientist users. I might have engineer users. I can give them access to different functions and features within the product. I can do this at the data level as well. I have column level masking capabilities, row level filtering capabilities. All of that stuff is built into the platform. The other aspect of governance is financial governance. The other thing that Qubole does is we provide data back to our customers, and we give them dashboards on being able to do things like attribute cost, right? There's a number of things that we provide out of the financial governance cost explorer piece. One of those is the ability to say, hey, what portion of the cost came from which users? And so in this example here, I've got a dashboard available. I can run that query within the dashboard. I can actually show you that. Oh, sorry, I just closed the book here. There we go. What we're looking at here is user attribution against a particular cluster. So I'm going to change that to the cluster that we were looking at earlier with the up and down spikes to really see which users are using this cluster the most and what percentage of cost we can attribute down to the user level, down to the command level, down to the job level. As you can see here, this is one of our team members who happens to be the head of our BI team and is obviously the one that's using this cluster the most. And then the top three are all in the BI team, and there's a number of folks that also use this data lake instance. Again, this is part of the Qubole Cost Explorer product. What we're doing here is we're shipping data into our customer's cloud object store and then providing them with a set of out-of-the-box dashboards or notebooks, which allow them to run and power use cases like cost chargebacks or return on investment analysis. There are notebooks that are geared towards total TCO, so I can get a view of how well am I doing? Am I using spot instances? What percentage am I using spot instances? What does my auto-scaling look like? That data is shipped to their cloud object store. So not only do they have the out-of-the-box notebooks that they can use to analyze that, they can slice and dice that, build alerts on top of it, whatever they wanted to do on top of that.